This is WTF Nation Radio.
Stand up for the things I believe in, but I don't always do what's right. I'm the only hell my mama ever raised, but hell my mama tried. I am the last of a dying breed. There ain't many souls left like me. I'm a man of my word, that's a guarantee. I'm the last of a dying breed. Don't need much for me to get by. I don't fit in with the suit and the tie. You won't see me sitting high on a throne, so please tell the wolves that I'm finally home. I am the last of a dying breed. There ain't many souls left like me. I'm a man of my word, that's a guarantee. I'm the last of a dying breed. I'm a God-fearing man, I ain't afraid of my fate. I'm a lot like Drake, born 50 years too of a dying breed. There ain't many souls left like me. I'm a man of my word, that's a guarantee. I'm the last of a dying breed. I am the last of a dying breed. There ain't many souls left like me. I'm a man of my word, that's a guarantee. I'm the last of a dying breed.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
A lot of people look at us as robots or just out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. Let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
compassion, generosity, love. All of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects and mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I don't know shit about fuck.
All right, everybody. Here we go. It's time to get our Friday Night Freedom started. Sweet. I love this intro music I got. Yes. Makes me want to break stuff and things and stuff. Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Friday Night Freedom on February 10th, 2023. My name is Koz, and that's Pooky right there, that big bearded dude, right there.
Yep.
What's going on, man?
It's the same old. Apparently, we're like shooting down more shit over, you know.
What the hell is a car doing flying over Alaska?
They shot down the Back to the Future car is what it was. And Doc Brown was flying around trying to fix some shit, and we shot it down, you know.
we killed Marty.
Oh no.
Marty and Doc.
Oh no!
It's new. It's like what is it, about 1 o'clock ish.
Kind of new, yeah. Within the last 6 hours.
So apparently there was an object, and they call it an object. There's no picture of it. There's no video of it. There's no. We may see some in the coming days of what it is. Was it a balloon? It was flying at about 40,000 feet, and it was determined to be a threat to commercial aircraft. So the Warhawk Joe Biden decided, shoot it down.
Shoot it down. Shoot it down.
Come on, man. Shoot it down.
Malarkey.
Malarkey. This is. So yeah, that's that happened, and that's really all of the information. Even if you listen to Kirby with his speech and everything, it was supposed to be an informational speech, and there was little or no information given. So give it about 72 hours. There'll be more. There's
aliens.
It's aliens.
Aliens.
I'm not saying it was aliens.
It was aliens.
So was it a balloon? Did anybody say anything?
I have not heard anything. I've been tracking it since I woke up, and I woke up late today.
It had to have been a balloon, because nothing flies that. Because it was like they saw it yesterday, and they decided to shoot it down today. So it wasn't moving very fast. The chances are it was a Zeppelin or a balloon or whatever, about the size of a car. Not
you can't measure anything with actual units in the United States. We gotta just. God forbid we say pounds or height or width. It's just like when an elephant was in the sky.
It was as wide as 842 8-track cassette tapes. What?
It weighed as much as an entire years of Florida's orange production. Like, what the...
You gotta break it down Barney style, and then it goes sideways. Shit. So tonight's going to be a good night. We have Kyle and Jackie Stark coming on the show tonight, and it's amazing, and it's inspirational. I don't know much about them because most of their stuff is on TikTok, and I neither tick nor talk, which is the message that I sent you. So I haven't seen any of their videos. I think I saw one where Kyle is a fireman. But he's got his own legs, and he's got fire legs. He doesn't have legs, so he changes them out as needed. And it was him putting on his uniform.
Fire Legs. I was
Fire
so
Legs. It
confused
was
for a
like his
second.
Fire Legs had his boots already there, and
it was like
they're
wait,
already in his
he's
locker.
got
It was
legs of fire.
No, it was really really cool. So but the thing is that him and his wife Jackie are competing in a Spartan trifecta. And I don't know much about it. It's a little bit convoluted when you look at it. To get the trifecta, you have to compete in three events, and the events are like there's the stadium event, which seems to me to be like an entry level. Then there's the sprint event, the super event, the beast event, but there's also the ultra event and the trail event, which are like I guess increasing in difficulty and stuff. But you have to do 3 of those, and then you get your trifecta, which is you get a little piece of a medal and a little piece of a medal and a little piece of a medal for 3 for a trifecta, and they all fit together and they make a medallion, which corresponds to the Spartan trifecta. So that is the limit of knowledge that I have for what the Spartan trifecta is.
When your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
So we're going to have these wonderful inspirational folks on the air in I don't know, top of the hour in about 48 minutes. But you got to hang out with me and Pooky for at least a little bit until break time.
Got to hear the ridiculousness.
Yeah, you do, and there is a lot of ridiculousness. So earlier this week, Turkey experienced an earthquake. Now we all know how devastating an earthquake in Turkey can be. It's pretty nasty. So as of last night, the death toll in Turkey was over 21,000. Was the last thing that I saw. I've seen lots of different figures, but 21,000, like or around 21,000, is about the most right now. So I'm thinking, holy shit. But back in 1999, Turkey had a quake, and the death toll was around 17,000. Since then, there has been stricter building standards on the record. It's like, okay, these are now the rules. You have to build your buildings like this. But due to the corruption, these standards have been poorly enforced. So you'll have people saying, okay, according to the records, just say we did this, and we're going to build the building like we want to.
According to CNN, 6 minutes ago, 23,000.
We're up to 20, and this is last night. These are last night's numbers. When I put the show together last night, that it was 21,000. So they're still finding people. This sucks, dude. This is horrible. So the reason for that much death isn't only because of the weak buildings. The way that the plates are contacting each other is the other reason. In California, they have the Juan de Fuca plate, which is subducting or going under the North American plate. So when an earthquake happens, it's usually very focused in a certain area or region, and the aftershocks go out like the rings on a pond when you drop a pebble. You can look at my little pebble graphic there. The quake in Turkey and in Syria on the eastern Anatolian fault is on a strike-slip fault, which is a lot different. An area north and west of the Arabian Plate and the Eurasian Plate, these plates just collide and then they grind up against each other until one of the plates slips. There is an epicenter. The initial quake runs up and more quakes are caused, which turns into more aftershocks. So more quakes, then more aftershocks, then more quakes, then more aftershocks. It's very linear, and it's much more destructive. So you can see that line of quakes, little small one starting down south, and then the big one happening, and then other quakes that are triggered by that initial contact and rubbing and slipping. To add insult to injury, the temperatures have been in the mid-20s, which is causing many would-be survivors to just freeze to death. So that's another explanation for the extremely high death toll throughout Syria and Turkey. I don't want to discount Syria. Syria is right in the middle of
Syria's already got issues going on with their civil war they've been having for what decade now.
Yeah, and they got a government. Both governments are kind of shitty. Syria is just kind of like, you offer them help and they're like, no, we don't need your help. We're like, okay. The United States offered. I think we offered $85 million in aid to Turkey,
It'd be a good time for Sweden to come up and be like, "Hey, we're sending all our people here to help you as long as we can, enjoy NATO." Oh, I'm sorry, I made a joke about that.
I mean, that's kind of what we do. Joke about unjokeable things. So another example of this kind of fault is the San Andreas fault. This same strike slip fault is what the San Andreas fault is, and everyone knows the San Andreas fault is here in California. So another example is the San Andreas fault. It's an area where the Pacific plate is colliding with the North American plate, and they're grinding against each other at a rate of about 1 to 2 inches per year. It runs about 2/3 of the way through about two-thirds of the length of California is the San Andreas fault is there.
I mean, a good portion of California on the one side could just fall in the ocean, and we wouldn't really care, would we?
Would that be? I mean, Los Angeles is on the west side of the San Andreas fault, so they would be
San Francisco, San Diego.
But I was up in the San Bernardino area, and there's.
Ever been to California? I'm gonna be honest with you.
I've been there. Okay, I've been there twice. Never as a tourist. Once when I went to Korea, I flew from Chicago to where did we land? We landed in San Francisco. Did we land? Yeah, it was San Francisco because it was a shitty landing because we're like, there's fucking water everywhere, and then all of a sudden you're on the ground. And then we went to Anchorage. The second time I was there, I was doing a job for Starbucks, so I flew into Los Angeles. I didn't know at that time that San Bernardino had a big airport so I could fly there. So I chose to fly to LAX. I rented a car and then drove to San Bernardino. I left out of San Bernardino. Boy, my company didn't like that at all. I changed my ticket. I changed my turn in for the rent-a-car. It cost my company a whole fuck ton of money for me to go to California that day. But yeah, I've never been there as a tourist. I've never been there to see the sights and stuff. I would love to go up there and just hike around the Cascades or something. I like to go there. I would like to go there and visit. That's about
the redwoods. That's about the only thing I'd like to see is the big old trees, man.
Is that Northern California?
I don't actually. I'll be honest. I don't know crap about California. I just know I avoid it like the plague. And if someone said, "Hey, you go out to California for something," I'm gonna be like, "You better pay me to do it." Huh?
See, I would like to go. If I had to live in California, I would probably choose like San Diego. San Diego seems like that would be the most perfect as far as climate.
Sacramento, maybe.
But I don't know. I can't deal with it. There's so much bad in California that outweighs the good. So I would choose to make California a visiting spot as opposed to a living spot.
Live in Nevada, visit California.
Nevada is another one. I mean, what is in Nevada? You have Reno, you have Vegas. Everything in between is nothingness, right?
Oh, it's beautiful nothingness, though. I've been to Nevada. Traveled through there. Used to do the red flag exercise there at Nellis Air Force Base, and driving between some of the locations. It is really beautiful out there, especially near the Area 51 area. Like I could see why people put up trailers and just live out there. I really can see it.
Where's Vandenberg?
Ooh, Vandenberg. That's gotta be north or something. Because the furthest north I've been in Nevada was like El Caliente or whatever it is. I think is a little town up there.
No, Vandenberg's in California. Isn't that the missile base where they launch things and stuff?
Or Space Force. That's the Space Force Center.
Edwards Air Base. That's a big one. That's a huge one. Love it.
It may be visible from San Diego, Vandenberg, but maybe Vandenberg. That's a band. I don't know.
So yeah, Turkey and Syria are getting jacked up with the. I mean, they're still dealing with aftershocks right now, and it's just killing. It just seems to be killing more and more people. The weather really isn't helping. So Prayers out to those folks, man. That sucks when it's like that a whole swath of land is just in the crosshairs right now. It sucks.
All mountainous ranges and hard to access places. Like I've seen like satellite pictures on TikTok. Like people are showing like the before and after, and it's like it looks like someone came on and carpet bombed the living hell out of them, and it's sad. Like people just stuck. That's my worst nightmare, is being stuck alive under debris, trying to get help and just waiting.
That would really. There's so many heartbreaking pictures, like this guy's trying to rescue his wife, and her hand is out, and he's holding her hand, and she's dead. That stuff just tears me up, man. I could not imagine having a loved one buried and you can't get them. You can't get to them. That's terrible. That's just absolutely awful.
I'm sure if the death count right now is at 23,000, by the end of the week, it's going to be probably double that at that point.
It was 21, dude. It was like what, $5,000 a couple of days ago, and then all of a sudden it was 20, and then it was 21,000 last night and 23,000 today. So that's
6 minutes ago according to CNN.
Nasty. So we got a lot of land in the United States. I don't even know what the total acreage. Would you measure that in acreage?
Probably square miles would probably be the best way to do it.
But by the start of 2020, if I could do this, by the start of 2020, Chinese owners, not China, but owners that have Chinese interests, controlled nearly 200,000 agricultural acres of land in the United States. By the end of 2022, that number had stayed basically the same. It hadn't really increased. The USA has nearly 1 billion agricultural acres, so 200,000 acres isn't very much in the grand scheme of things. Regardless, my personal opinion is that if you're not a U.S. citizen or a U.S.-based company, you shouldn't have the privilege of owning any land in the United States.
Like 99% of the world will not allow foreign entities to own land inside their country unless they lease it.
Yeah, I don't think, if you go to Mexico to live a cheaper lifestyle, you can't buy a house. You can lease a house, right? Would you own it? You can own the house?
I think you can buy house like real estate, but there's certain speculations of what kind of real estate that you could purchase. Like you can't buy like oceanfront or waterfront or farmland, or like they have like stipulations to it.
There's rules, right?
Well, yeah.
And what's the world without rules, man? It'll be just chaos. Anarchy.
Okay. Anarchy. I don't even know what it is, but I like the sound of it.
So back in the mid 2022, a company called the Fufang Group purchased 370 acres of farmland near Grand Forks, North Dakota. You're like, man, North Dakota, there ain't shit in North Dakota. Yeah, there kind of is.
There's a lot of shit in North Dakota.
There's a lot of shit in North Dakota. The goal for them was to set up a milling plant there. But on Monday, February 6th, the Grand Forks City Council voted 5-0 to stop the project. Because, this is a Chinese-owned and operated... This is a company owned by a Chinese owner who is tied to the CCP, the Communist Party of China. Andrew P. Hunter is the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics. He provided a statement for the council to consider. He said that the proposed project, quote, presents a significant threat to national security with both near and long-term risks of significant impacts to our operations in the area. This little development that the Fufang Group wanted to develop there was only 16 miles away from Grand Forks Air Base. And who knows? There's missile silos just dotted all in that area. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to realize that to have a company with deep Chinese interests to to insert some of their people there, some spies there, under the guise of being an employee for this group. Their big sell was they're processing corn and whatnot, but they're gonna employ like 200 to 300 people. But nah. It just I don't
go ahead. Out of the biggest farmland buyers, China's up there, but there's some big tech gurus rolling around with a whole bunch of farmland too.
Bill Gates owns a bunch of land up in Wyoming, doesn't he?
I think all over the fucking place now. I mean, don't quote me if I'm wrong on this shit, but I mean,
is he I think he's the largest like individual landowner
in the United States at this point, and most of the majority of it's farmland, which I don't understand at that point.
So I know China's trying to buy up like residential areas and stuff too.
Well, that's what they were doing in Detroit, and I don't know if you heard about that.
You could buy a house for $1 in Detroit.
I have a friend of mine, a really good friend, army buddy of mine. He said that he lives in Toledo, but he traverses back and forth from Detroit and all over the place. And he said that he went to go buy a set of rims from a guy. He showed up at the guy's house, like, oh, I gotta go to my other house. Apparently, the dude had bought up an entire block because it was so cheap.
Oh, yeah.
He had the money to do it, so he was like, hold on, let me go to my other house to get it, because that's where I'm storing it right now. I'm like, what the hell? Owning an entire city block in Detroit? Think about that.
See, a lot of those stipulations for buying a house for like $1 in Detroit was you either have to move it or tear it down, because there's so much blight. So much blight. Houses that you cannot live in these houses. They're either, if you want it, yeah, you got to move it.
Yeah, he was doing like apparently like house improvement or whatever it is. So he was like buying homes, fixing them up, flipping them, I guess. But he at one point this apparently guy owned a whole block. My buddy's brain was trying to have a hard time wrapping around it. I was like,
it's like Monopoly in real life.
Yeah, like I own all of 6th Street, fool. You know, like holy shit, man. You're like, all right, big baller here. Don't land on the stop sign because you're gonna charge me and roll through your neighborhood. You know.
So if you had the opportunity to, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad investment. I mean, it would take a lot of legwork. If you could get a loan for, let's say, $500,000, buy up a city block, a residential city block. But yeah, I mean, you would have to sink so much money into it with the potential of selling it for a profit.
In worst case scenario, you just strip the house off it, sell the land as it is. Probably make profit just doing that at that point.
Is the land worth a damn though?
I mean, that whole area is toxic as shit from all the, eons of, the automotive factories and all the factories, industrialization from the 1800s and stuff like that. Like, you can't even grow like tomatoes in your backyard without having to worry about catching some weird radioactive virus or some crap like that. Turn it into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, minding your own business.
Yeah, but then, just think of all the pizza you could eat.
In the sewer.
On top of it. Yeah. So I guess we can talk about Little Kim now, because if you saw the little intro screen for the show, there's a little quote that we had, or that I put up there. Where was it? Where is it? This one here. It's a Kim Jong-un. It says, "It's always tough being the fat kid in school. It must be extra tough being the only fat kid in the country." So I guess we're gonna talk about Little Kim here for a little bit.
Is he really fat though?
He's not fit. Let's just say that.
But I mean, like, you say he's fat, and then I look at him, I'm like, that's like 90% of Americans walking around right now. So I mean,
yeah, but look at your entire country though. There's nothing in that entire country, and he's just living high off the hog, because that's what dictators do. But up until Wednesday, Little Kim has not been seen in 36 days. Many rumors were circulating about his decline in health, and he's taken time off to recover from some kind of disease or whatever. But Kim Jong-un poked his little head up, shitty haircut and all, he presided over a huge military parade at the Capitol where troops rolled out the latest hardware of his fast-growing nuclear arsenal that fuels tensions with his neighbors and the United States. North Korean state media photos of the parade published on Thursday showed Kim attended the event with his wife and young daughter. He was smiling and raising his hand from the balcony as thousands of troops lined up in brightly illuminated Kim Il-sung Square, named after his grandfather. The parade on Wednesday marked the 75th founding anniversary of North Korea's army, and it came after weeks of preparations involving huge numbers of troops and civilians mobilized to glorify Kim's rule and his relentless push to cement the North's status as a nuclear power. They just seem like bullies to me. It's just everything that they've got it's not been developed by them. It's just been kind of, here, have these things, you know.
They're notorious for like their black market and stealing and a whole 9 yards of things. Crypto hacking. That's where they make their money at, and that's 90% of their GDP is hacking and stealing shit.
I just thought it was weird when I was in Korea, and this is years ago. This is not yesterday. This is years ago. They said, and this is way before Kim Jong-il came to power. I think he may have been a kid back then, or maybe not even born. But they were saying when you're doing business down in the villages, either exchange your money for won on base, or don't use anything larger than a $20 bill. Because if you use like a $50 or a $100 bill down there to trade for won, they'll give you whatever, and the appropriate exchange is there. I mean, I never got ripped off down there, but they would take those $50 bills or the $100 bills, and they would use them to counterfeit. Because they're like super awesome at copying shit. And when you go down here and you pay like $50 for a $1,000 suit because they can just copy everything. Not North Koreans, just Koreans in general.
I had a nice suit made by a bunch of Turkish guys in Iraq.
Yeah.
A real nice suit.
So a spokesman for North Korea's foreign ministry says that the expansion of the military drills by the United States is threatening to turn the peninsula into a huge war arsenal and a critical war zone. Pyongyang is prepared to counter this with the most overwhelming nuclear force. So he's talking major shit. He's just talking shit. He's talking a lot of shit. And he's kind of following it up with actions, just because last year they had like a record number of ICBM, are they ICBMs?
They're shooting missiles.
All their missile testings. I'm not sure if they were all ICBMs, but
shooting them over Japan, which was pissing Japan off, and
talk about a shitty neighbor, right?
I don't know. I'm sorry to say it, but I give Japan props for not just like saying fuck you and just retaliate every time.
It wasn't until recently that Japan was actually allowed to start bolstering their military.
That started right after the global war on terrorism kicked off, actually, to tell you the truth.
David Cunningham, Osan is awesome, dude. I loved Osan.
I've heard so much. I've never been to Korea, but I hear so much about Osan. Everyone's like, "It's so great. Osan's awesome."
I was down at Humphreys, and we would do like on the weekends. You get on the bus for 1,000 won. Go all the way to Osan. Stay at the Air Force barracks there. So you're staying in like nice barracks. And just party all night in Osan, and then stay in Air Force barracks, eat Air Force chow in the morning, and then go back to Humphreys. There's so much to do there. There's so much to do even in Seoul. You take it was like an hour bus ride. You'd stay in Seoul. You go to Itaewon, and just there's so many clubs, so many shops. You can do so many things. It was cool. I had a really, really, really good time in Korea. So I don't think Kim's going anywhere. And even if he disappeared tonight, if he died and they buried him, there would be another dictator getting ready to pick up where he left off. I don't think
his little sister take over, and she's scary as shit.
Dude, I heard that she's batshit crazy.
She is scary as shit. I mean, even though I saw a picture of her, I was like, I might consider if I had a couple drinks to make.
She looks maybe 100 pounds, but she has that her eyes are like
the AOC eyes.
Yeah, crazy eyes. Crazy eyes Kim.
Nicolas Cage eyes.
Nicolas Cage has good crazy eyes.
Not the bees. Not the bees.
There's So yeah, we got the little Kim. You know, he was gone for 36 days. I'm like, well, maybe they're gonna find him, you know, like dead in a bunker or, you know, dead in his house.
Maybe he disappears into his like nuclear bunker when he knows China's about to pull some fucking crazy shit. Like he probably got warning from China, hey, we're about to do this. Go dip down in your bunker, hold on to your nukes because we might need you.
And you know, if there's a first strike, they're going to be a participant.
Or a secondary strike. You know, right. North Korea could be like, oh, well, we're going to hide back and hide in our bunkers. No one's going to drop a nuke on North Korea because why? I mean, what is there in North Korea? So after the nukes have done hit, now North Korea's like, I got some nukes and you can't do shit about it. No, that's a scary concept to think about.
To armchair quarterback, if there were ever to be a nukes or a first strike, I don't think the United States would ever do a first strike, but the retaliatory strike there needs to be. Dude, everyone fucking dies. If you're not an ally, you're fucking you're glowing.
Scary, man. That's fucking scary if you think about it, man. Like,
who do you nuke first? You just send up a bunch of missiles and drop a couple on Pyongyang, and
shit, might as well nuke ourselves at that point, huh?
It's just, I mean, it's the same premise of mutually assured destruction.
It fucking freaks me out. Especially now that we got like cars flying over.
Fucking, it's North Korea sending over a Daewoo on a balloon.
Little do we know, is a dude on Honda Civic trying to fucking hit Mach 3. Oh!
It's the fastest recorded speed for a Honda Civic.
He's like, screw you, Elon. You just did your massive test today. I'm gonna fucking launch myself with a Honda Civic and prove you wrong.
Where's that? You know that Roadster is still up in space doing loops,
floating around. I don't even know if they're still tracking. I don't even know if they're still tracking it. But
go to whereisroadster.com.
I know, like a million years from now, some alien civilization is gonna roll through here and be like, "Why is this dude in this vehicle floating around?" And like, what would they call it? What was his name? The guy wearing a SpaceX suit. No? Like, why is he driving a lithium powered fucking car through space? They're gonna be so confused.
Okay, where is Starman? That's it. Where is Roadster?
Roadster, Starman. I can't remember what his name was.
Yeah, right now he is still out in space. He's actually in the orbit of or not the orbit, but the elliptical orbit of where Mars is.
I thought he was supposed to slingshot around Mars and kind of stay chilling out that way.
Well, he's so go to whereisroadster.com, and it'll show you exactly where he's at. It has achieved a fuel economy of 20,000.58 miles per gallon. If the battery is still working, Starman has listened to Space Oddity 497,331 times since he launched in one ear, and in the other ear, he has listened to Is There Life on Mars 670,133 times. He has completed about 3.28 orbits around the sun since his launch. I mean, there's like real-time tracking for all this shit. This is cool. Where is Roadster?
I'm actually looking at it, and it's actually crazy because he is in a weird rotational, like I guess elliptical orbit around Earth and Mars.
Yeah.
Like certain date. I mean, one day he might smack into Mars. Cool. The Martians come invade us, and we got fucking
cool,
World of the World.
Mars shot down our balloon. Damn it. There's actually aliens on Mars. They're gonna knock Starman out of the sky.
Just looking at that map, and I'm seeing all the little dots, knowing that that's all debris just randomly floating around.
It is.
Gives me some fucking anxiety.
And that's I don't know if they're tracking them or if that's. Imagine how just sun bleached that car is. Because it doesn't look pretty. It's not as pretty red, and Starman is not just this sexy looking astronaut driving a Roadster anymore.
He's listening to some chopped and screwed freaking.
What he needs to be is listening to WTF Nation Radio 5 nights a week now.
5 nights a week.
That's nuts. You know what else is nuts? I don't know if we can talk about this for 20 minutes. A pair of California woodpeckers. Woodpeckers?
What kind of woodpeckers?
California woodpeckers.
There is a specific species of. Oh, I gotta look this up now.
A pair of California woodpeckers are surely feeling robbed after a pest control technician on a routine call found their massive trove of acorns stashed in the walls of a California house. This is nuts because I pay a lot of attention to my house. So if there was a wild animal dropping things into my house, I think I might know. So the Sonoma County homeowners called Nick Castro he's the owner of Nick's Extreme Pest Control, when they spotted worms coming out of the bedroom wall. They turned out to be mealworms, feasting on an incredible horde of acorns amassed by a pair of aptly named acorn woodpeckers. After making a small 4-inch square hole in a wall, Castro said the acorns started spilling out.
Jeez, I'm watching a video right now. That is insane.
That alone wouldn't be terribly unusual, but they just kept on coming. They just kept on coming out of that hole. Castro estimates that there was at least 700 pounds of acorns likely collected over the past 2 to 5 years. Often woodpeckers store acorns on the outsides of the houses, sometimes in rain gutters, but rarely do they get inside. In this case, Castro discovered that the birds dropped their treasures through a hole in the chimney and had entered the attic through a separate hole to feast on their trash. Castro said on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10. It's a 1 in a million chance to find something this significant. I expected to find a few handfuls, but it was nothing like this. It took creating another 3 holes in the home's walls to remove all the acorns, which ultimately piled and reached. He says this thing says it reached a height of 20 feet.
I'm surprised their walls didn't cave in at that point. That's nuts.
Or at least started bowing out.
That's crazy. Like, I know I saw him. I just looked it up. I saw him pulling it out of the initial hole in the wall. I'm like, within a minute, he had a wheelbarrow full of acorns. That is insanity.
Castro and his crew spent 3 full days extracting the nuts. Totally, they filled 8 big black garbage bags. They were so heavy that they could barely pick them up. And they weighed at least 100 pounds each. That is, good work for the woodpeckers. That's a lot of work. I just couldn't imagine. You got mealworms in your house. If you keep, pancake mix and shit like that, it can get infested with mealworms. I don't know.
I've had it happen before.
I don't know how it begins.
Well, you don't keep it sealed properly. The little flies fly into it and then they land it, and then that's how it starts. That's why you keep your flour on a airtight.
That ooks me out because I usually keep a very clean house. So if anything just appears, that I'm like, I think that there was something there beforehand.
I mean, if you knew what the FDA's acceptable insect to grain level is, you'd probably lose your mind at that point. And
that's why, when I graduated college, I had a friend of mine. I have always been working in the aviation industry. He went to go work in the ag industry because agricultural is huge here in Texas. So he went and he would write code. And he developed little, ear tags, little RFID tags. And he would get tags, he would program them, install them on the cattle, and then when the cattle were harvested, he would recover the tags and then repurpose them for other cattle. And he sent me, he would call me and go, dude, he goes, I'm never eating a hot dog again. He had all kinds of horror stories. just being in that industry and seeing that crap every day. He's like,
don't ask what's in it. Just don't ask what is in it. Just enjoy it.
Enjoy your hot dog. Enjoy your chicken breast. Enjoy your steak. Just don't ask where it comes from.
It's like, I grew up living off of scrapple. That's a Appalachian kind of thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's like ham chunks, fat, and
it's everything but the squeal at that point.
Yeah.
But I love it. Still to this day, I love it. It's like cornmeal and just whatever's left over.
I would eat it. It's not Spam. It's different. It's kind of like Spam, but on a larger scale.
Well, it's kind of like what's it, boudin down in Louisiana. It's kind of the same concept. It's a sausage. It's really good breakfast sausage, delicious until you find out what's in it. But then, if you're a person like me, I don't give a shit. It tastes good, so I'm going to eat it anyways.
Yeah, I'm big on if it tastes good, I'm going to eat it. If you know where it comes from, it's just just seems less enjoyable. But then you get over that because if it tastes good, then that kind of overrides the where did it come from, and how did it come from.
I think most sausages, once you find out how most sausages are made, it's not just pork meat in there. You got a heart, liver, kidney. That's
toenails,
what sausage is.
Toenails. And
a British blood sausage. I cannot do the blood sausage. That's one thing I've never been able to get myself over. That just grosses me out a little bit.
Based on the name, I'm guessing there's lots of blood in there.
They use blood. It's like a almost black looking sausage by the time it's done. And it's just, to me, it's just like, once I found out, I was like, yeah, most of the binding agent is made with blood. And you're like, yeah, nah, I ain't doing that. Huh? Draw my line at blood.
Yeah, I don't do the blood thing. I don't like that. I've never had blood sausage. I know my parents, just based on our culture, being from a Polish background, we've always had lots of beet soup was big, and liver. God damn it. We had liver a lot. I hate liver.
I love liver. It depends on how you do the liver. It depends on how you do it.
It all tastes the same. Liver and onions.
Veal liver is way better than the big standard beef liver because it's just more tender.
Because you steal a liver from a baby cow.
Yeah, well, that's what. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever eaten lamb. There is a difference between lamb and mutton. So it's just the same concept. You eat a young sheep, pretty much. So you got a lamb and then you got mutton.
Can I tell you a stupid story? It's not even a stupid story. It's just I do like eating lamb chops. On the grilled lamb chops are really, really good, and I'll eat those. But my mom and dad would make for Easter. My mom would make lamb and things, and then I went to a Catholic school, so I would associate the Lamb of God in my head, and I'm eating Jesus or something, and this is 5-year-old, 6-year-old me. I would associate eating lamb with eating Jesus's flesh, and it really stuck with me forever. So I would go to my brother-in-law's house, and he'd be like, we're going to be grilling lamb chops. And I'm like, whoa, I'm just going to eat the beans or something, or I'll have a salad. Thank you.
I love lamb is my favorite meat.
I'm a grown-ass man, and I know the difference, but it's just that thing in my head that still sticks and rattles around from time to time. That just throws me off. And it's bad because
It's like my mother. She refuses to eat lamb because of a what's that House on the Prairie episode that she saw where I guess some dudes came through and sold some bad lamb meat or mutton, and it killed off half the town. So she's terrified. She's terrified to eat. Like if I'll buy a lamb, I'll be grilling it up, eating it. She's like, I'm not touching that. I refuse. She'll put her little. No,
that's legitimate. My little aversion to eating lamb is dumb. Your mom's aversion to eating lamb, that's pretty legitimate. That's why I won't eat. If someone kills a hog, I won't eat it because if it's not processed professionally, it's there's that threat of trichinosis. I don't need any tapeworm in my body, so I won't eat it. If you don't properly cook, like a wild boar, we have lots of feral hogs in the area. So someone's like, I shot 2 hogs. We're gonna have a big barbecue this weekend. I won't. I'll go. I'll drink the beer. I'm not gonna eat the pig. And I love bacon. I love all that stuff. Everything that makes America. Bacon and beer and whiskey and
beef, brisket.
Oh, I love brisket. I did a pork butt in a Dutch oven this last week that had we were kind of shut down because we had ice. So that was kind of cool. I had never done pork butt other than in a smoker in my life, but I did it in a Dutch oven and it turned out amazing.
I pressure cook pork butt, and it comes out like you pressure cook it about maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and it comes out perfect pulled pork at that point.
Yeah, it was really
just add your sauce to it, depending on what kind of sauce you like. North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Kansas City,
Memphis,
however you like to do. Yeah. However you like to do it, and I prefer the South Carolina, the Eastern South Carolina barbecue sauce.
I don't know what I did, but it was spicy and it was good. I put a bunch of cayenne in there. It was so awesome.
And the vinegar base is where I go to with my barbecue sauce. But
why vinegar? I mean, what's the other choice?
You got a mustard, you got a mustard, vinegar, tomato, ketchup, kind of. You got the brown sugar. You got more of a dry rub. I think Kansas City's more of the Memphis and them are more of like the dry rub, Texas and stuff like that. But South Carolina, they got there's a distinct line that runs through South Carolina, which is crazy because you can go from right across 95, Interstate 95. As soon as you cross 95, the barbecue sauces changes at the barbecue joints. You'll have your mustard vinegar base closer to the coast, and then as soon as you cross about I don't know what town it is, it's weird, but as soon as you hit that one spot, it turns into that tomato base, and it's crazy how boom, it changes like that. And
Baconator says, "What's the white barbecue sauce called?"
That's that Alabama shit, and I can't get down on that. I've never been able to get down on that. Huh?
He said he thinks it's made in Georgia. It's usually used on chicken. I've never had that. I've never had white.
I think the Alabama. I've heard of like an Alabama white barbecue sauce, and I don't even. I mean, I've had like with the gravy, the pepper gravy for your chicken fried steaks and shit like that. That's good, but you're a tomato. Well, yeah, I am a tomato. Look, I'm a tomato.
You know who's a potato?
Phil?
No, Madonna.
Oh dear Lord!
Every time I see her, I'm like, dude, you are a peeled, boiled potato.
I don't know what she's trying to do. I saw she posted some crap on Twitter, and I'd have to go look it up.
She said some crap like, everyone's just afraid of my power. It was along that line. No, honey, you're a 65-year-old potato with a 20-year-old husband.
The world is threatened by my power and my stamina, my intelligence and my will to survive, but they will never break me. This is the test. And she's like looking down at the camera like a 14-year-old girl trying to hide her goddamn double chin with a filter. Even though when she looks straight at it, she looks like what was that Pan's Labyrinth kind of shit.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I wish I saved some of my old pictures, like the before and afters, the before and afters of Madonna. I mean, God bless her, man. 65 years old. She still thinks she's 20, and I think that's where the issue is. She wants to be 20. She wants to remain 20 years old forever. She wants to be.
She's a Toys R Us kid.
She is, and Toys R Us is out of business.
Out of business.
Aren't they going to relaunch though? I think they're going to.
Someone said some crap along the lines about that. I don't believe it. When it happens, it happens. But I don't know.
If they launch Toys R Us on a smaller scale, not like these big, huge warehouses with toys and aisles and aisles and aisles of everything, trim it down a little bit. Trim it down a lot.
Like small toy GameStops where they sell like Legos and shit. Like
maybe a GameStop size store, maybe 2 or 3 times size that, maybe 4 times that, not 20 times that. Like what not a mall size Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
He says she looks like a female Muppet that's been in the Muppet Show band. Yeah.
Oh God, the picture she posted, I was like,
she's 65 years old, and so Leonardo DiCaprio he's 53, having a 19-year-old girlfriend now. Is that was that the latest? Is that the latest news?
Is that fucking real? Because that's like fucking sick.
That is damn weird. Is it legal? Yes, it is. Is it weird? Absolutely, it is. I mean, for every man to like. Can I get it's okay when you look at pictures, you're like, wow, that model is very pretty, and oh wow, she's 19 years old, and you're a 50-year-old man. Just the thought of, wow, would she ever be my girlfriend? And then all of a sudden Leonardo DiCaprio kind of pulls that off. That's just weird. No,
not normal.
I'm a 50-year-old dude, and I've got kids that are in their 20s, daughters that are in their 20s, and that's just that's
fucking weird.
That's
man.
Weird. That is weird to me. So I don't know who she is. I don't know where she comes from, what her parents' opinions are, but man, that's just spooky and weird.
26 is my cutoff. I'm sorry. I don't know. If you're younger than that, get the hell out of here.
So what's the best in the Pooky estimate? What's the best separation of ages?
I think once you get to an age past like 35, you need to just stop looking past maybe 10 years younger than you at that point. And that's getting creepy at that point.
So if you're 35,
a 45-year-old woman dating a 35-year-old man, no problem with that. 50-year-old man dating a 30-year-old woman, I don't see any problem with that because mature adults at that point. You got your shit figured out. But when you start getting into that, well, I'm 50 and I'm dating she just turned 18 2 weeks ago. I'm like, that's fucking creepy, my man. That's creepy. She's still a child. Leave her the fuck alone. Beat her off. That's fucking. I mean, you can't buy cigarettes. You can't buy cigarettes until you're 21 in this country. You can't buy alcohol until you're 21 in this country. They need to raise the age to 21 at that point.
I saw a meme. It was Leonardo DiCaprio saying something like, "You can't do this," and he goes, "Well, hold my beer," and then she says, "I can't," because she can't.
Gotta at least be able to drink with you at a bar. That's fucking. I mean, I could understand a 21-year-old man marrying a 19-year-old woman. That makes sense to me. High school sweethearts makes sense to me. But a 50-year-old dating a 19-year-old,
I couldn't even see a 50-year-old dating a 30-year-old. I mean, what would you talk about? I think there would be less to talk about. I think there would be more to talk about with a 30-year-old than there would be a 19-year-old. Right?
That's a fucking goddamn Viagra commercial going on there at that point. But I'm just.
It's not all about sex, though. All right, hey, we're gonna take a break. Hopefully, our guest kind of shows up here. I haven't seen any incursions into the green room, so we're gonna take a break. And oh my gosh, I just said those words, and here they are. What's going on, y'all? We're going to cut to a break, and we're going to be right back with you in a second. And Kyle and Jackie are here. So we're going to take a break, and we'll We'll be back in just a little bit. We didn't get to talk about Hogwarts. Maybe later. Maybe later we'll talk about that. So anyway, we're going to cut to a break. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.
Seems time's against me, but I hate to rush. Gotta keep
John Hancock.
Come on.
It's Herbie Hancock. Yeah.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, everybody, we are back for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom. It's kind of a little bit of a different guest, and this is a very inspirational type of guest. It's Kyle and Jackie Stark, and I'm amazed at what's happening here because they do this thing called the Spartan Trifecta. Well, it's the Spartan race. And that is kind of like a Tough Mudder, but extra. It's a lot more extra on the tough, and a little bit less on the Mudder. So I'd like for everybody to to welcome Kyle and Jackie.
Hi.
To the show. Welcome. What's up, Mr. and Mrs. Stark? What's going on?
Not much. We're hanging out. It was a rest day from working out, so that was kind of nice. But other than that.
So I think your story was kind of pitched to me. I don't do the TikTok, so I haven't seen any of your videos. I think I saw, because you looked familiar. I think it was the one where you have. I think it was called Fire Legs.
Okay.
Was that you? Was that you?
That was me.
Okay. So you're not a slouch. You got this thing that you do, and you've got some internal drive, and there's a reason for your motivation. What you're doing is this Spartan challenge, the Spartan Trifecta. The Trifecta is a series of 3 events within the Spartan races, yes. and it makes 3 pieces make 1 medal.
Correct.
Do I understand? Before we get into any of that stuff, tell me about you, Kyle, and also Jackie. You're a personal trainer. I am. I'm thinking,
I own a personal training studio. Yep.
And I'm thinking that you keep Kyle in line.
I try to when I can. He's a challenge.
Somebody's got to.
He's stubborn.
So Kyle, tell me a little bit of background on you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been a nurse for 20 years. Did mostly ICU, ER, flight nursing. I now work as a PACU nurse. And then I am a volunteer firefighter in the community. And just try to be very active with being a double below the knee amputee.
So tell us about that. This isn't your typical amputee story. You have a very specific reason why.
Yeah, so I was born with a form of spina bifida, a spinal cord problem that left both my legs very deformed. And at a young age, I started developing problems where I had wounds on the bottom of my feet from pressure. And kind of dealt with that most of my life until we finally, at 31, got my legs amputated.
Was that an elective surgery, or because there are many veterans that have extreme leg injuries, and it's like they have a choice. You can either continue to do PT and try to build this back up, or we can amputate and then we'll move on from then.
It was listed pretty much as elective, but the answers I was getting was either, don't walk and then you won't have pressure ulcers, or keep walking and continue to have problems. And got to the point where when my wife was pregnant with our first, I ended up really septic and in the ICU and in really bad shape. And that was the kind of the final push to get it done.
Leading up to the decision to amputate your legs below the knee, how are you doing professionally?
I was still working. It was not easy. We were kind of at a point in our life where I'd work my few days of work and I'd come home and we really did nothing. I honestly would more crawl around the house just because it hurt too much to walk. So we got to the point where we really physically couldn't do anything.
So whose idea was it for the Spartan thing?
Yours.
Or was that
Yeah.
or was that
You
more of
started
like
first.
that was a post amputation like I need something. I got to have something.
Well, I mean, in the beginning, it was basically learning to walk and, slowly increasing activity.
Finally running.
Finally, I wanted to start running, just trying to, and, went back and forth with that for quite a bit. And then either my wife or her sister found something in the area about a run for a thing called amputee blade runners.
Oh, it was the beer run.
It was a beer run.
That would be my sister then.
Yeah, okay, your sister found, and so it was you went and you ran every quarter mile. You had to drink a beer, but the proceeds were going to this thing called amputee blade runners, and we went to it, and there was a few other active amputees there, and I met one gentleman there, and he got me hooked up with amputee blade runners, and they're a charity that helps kids and active amputees get prostheses that will help you be active. So I got accepted to that program, went to Nashville, Tennessee, and they set me up with running blades and sockets that actually were the first time that I could actually maintain activity at that point. I know they work with a lot of people that are very active, and the things they were doing with me actually worked and kind of helped me push to the activity levels that I'm at now.
So you've got different prosthetics that you can use for, this is my date. I'm going to the office. These are the legs that I'm wearing. This is, I'm going to be a firefighter. These are the legs that I'm wearing. And then there's your fire legs, obviously, which are separate. So there's definitely science involved with prosthetics. And I really appreciate it, because that enables anybody who's missing a limb to be more active. It takes the excuses out of, I've got a huge quiver of excuses of why I don't do shit. And
well, I mean, we say a lot of times, I think we have the drive to do a lot of this stuff because we, had so many years where we couldn't, and I'm 43 now, and I'm in better shape and, more activity than I could ever have through even my teens, my 20s, and anything.
Was your high school years, they were difficult? You were disabled during your high school years? Was this a debilitating thing that was present back then?
Well, I wore like hard braces on my legs to help me walk.
Okay.
But I did have I was in and out of the hospital with sores and infections, and all throughout.
I really tried to look up spina bifida. I mean, I know what that is. So I'm like, okay, how does this affect someone who's growing up? And I'm like, that doesn't seem to be him. I don't really know. There's different situations for everybody. I guess there's a box that everything kind of fits in, and then there's your outliers. It would seem to me that you are an outlier for the future of whatever a spina bifida patient would be.
Especially for my age.
Yeah.
Things have improved quite a bit over the years. I can remember doing some stuff as a kid where most people with the spina bifida were wheelchair bound. And then, as of the more recent years, I volunteered as a nurse at a spina bifida weekend, and, it's kind of up to a little bit more, I wouldn't even say half and half, but much more people that are less wheelchair bound.
Okay. So you were you found some motivation with these physical challenges.
Correct.
And was it Spartan? Was that first, or were there others, and you just fell on Spartan?
5Ks first.
5Ks first.
Okay.
There's one that I'll do again in March. That was one of my first ones on running blades, which was the Schenectady firefighters cancer run for your life run, and I've been doing that now for
5 years.
5 years, maybe. I know, and I know the first, first 5K on running blades. My goal was to beat an hour. And so it's improved greatly since then.
And what? Then your first Spartan was Fenway.
First Spartan was Fenway Park, and I did that with 2 single leg below the knee amputees that I met through Amputee Blade Runners, and just really enjoyed the challenge of it, and just kept increasing it more and more.
So I'm thinking that your body now has more ability than it did 12 years ago, a dozen years ago, and you're taking advantage of that.
Yes, absolutely. I know it's a different story for me, because a lot of people, when they, and I meet with people that lose a leg and whatnot, and I've met some people with car accidents, motorcycle accidents, some people from the military, and it's kind of a different, where a lot of them see it as a loss, where to me it was really a gain.
I never thought I would look at it like that way, because I didn't know how you were before. So this is that really is very enlightening to me. And it's really good to have, a lady like that by your side, who's
absolutely,
they're probably kicking your ass every day,
Oh yeah,
I try.
And that's the reason we're doing the trifecta this year. And the TikTok we started was this year is our 20th wedding anniversary, and we decided to do the trifecta together for it.
So tell us a little bit about the Spartan Challenge and what the trifecta is.
So a trifecta basically is 3 of their main races. They're 5K plus, 10K plus, and a half marathon one. So as you finish each of those races, you get like a wedge piece that you put together as a solid piece that says you finished your trifecta. We do Killington Mountain each year. Yep. So Killington Mountain is our sprint. And that's always usually around the weekend of September 11th.
Do you have 1 year to complete 3 events, or is this like, okay,
yes,
it's 1 year?
So it's the 3 events
limited
in the 1 year, correct. So we're going to be doing a beast in Fayetteville, South Carolina, and that's our first one in May. And then we're going to do our super outside of Boston in August, and then Killington Mountain in September.
We'll finish it.
I was so confused when I looked into this. I'm like, but the event list is like this long. It's a whole page, 2 columns, and I'm like, and then there's these little. You can do like all 3 here. All 3 events are available on these certain events. This isn't something that you do. You're not going to do a sprint and a super and a beast in a day, because that would mean that you're super.
Some people do it in the weekend.
Yeah,
really?
Some people do it in the weekend. Yeah.
We met a couple last year on Killington, which is like one of the hardest courses, and we were doing the sprint, which is the shortest race. They're older than us, and this guy looked and he's like, "Yeah, yesterday during the beast, which is like a 15+ mile race, he's like, so today we're just doing is like a cool down race."
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, well, sorry.
So these are like these events are running, or are these all running events?
Running and obstacles.
Yeah. So there's obstacles throughout, and if you don't complete the obstacles, there's burpee penalties to continue.
I saw that. That sucks.
And depending on where you do it, it's the terrain that's an obstacle in general. I mean, you do Killington Mountain each year, and
not an obstacle is climbing a mile up the mountain.
You know, last year was a straight up 1.1 mile straight. Where you just had to keep going the whole time. So, but that's not considered an obstacle. That's the terrain. That's the
and
course.
This isn't just something for people who have lost limbs. I mean, there's.
Oh no, this is everybody.
No.
This is everybody, whether you've got adaptive requirements or not.
Yeah. So there's people that do like the elite, where they're
racing to win it.
They're the activities. They're the people. That,
okay, I don't even have that on my list.
All the time.
I've got Sprint, Super, Beast, Ultra, Trail, and then there's Elite.
And then there's age group, and then we do open group, which is basically
we're not trying to win.
We're not trying to win. We're trying to finish.
I like those. I can finish. I ain't gonna win. And kids too, because this whole Spartan thing. I mean, they're inclusive for the entire family. They have like kids categories, so you can
yes,
bring
our
the.
daughter's done a whole bunch of them.
Really, this is so cool.
She loves them. She can't wait till she can do not the kids version.
Okay, as a kid, can she compete, or is there age requirements?
There is an age requirement
until she's 14. She can't
probably
really do the full thing.
It's probably not a bad idea. If you
ask her, she's ready.
So when was your first? I mean, from the time that you had your amputation, when was the time that was between that amputation and your first Spartan event?
Oh, a lot. 10 years.
Was that 10 years?
About 8 years.
2018.
Yeah.
So,
did it take you a while? I mean, was there some depression involved, or I mean, talk me through the process of.
I mean, I would say the depression was more before.
Yeah.
When they were still saying no, and you know, there was a point where I didn't think I'd make it very long into my 30s, you know, and then once they finally agreed to do it, which you know, I had talked to one of the doctors that I worked with at the hospital and I knew very well, who was the medical director at the time, and I was explaining to him my reasoning of why I wanted to get him amputated, and he actually thought I made a lot of sense and
signed off.
He helped a lot, and once the decision was made, it was just looking up from there. It was, you know, couldn't wait to get my first leg. Couldn't wait. So they wouldn't do them both at the same time. They did my right leg, which was the worst leg first. And then it was about 2 months to get a leg.
It was March and May. So.
Okay. So
that's really close.
About 1 month, they let me get on a prosthetic leg, and they said that, they wouldn't do the other one until I could walk on that one with just the walker, which took me about a week. And then we scheduled to get the other one done. And then the same thing, about a month to get a prosthetic leg, and then got myself moving pretty quick, and actually got back to work pretty quick. And then just kept moving from there.
So Jackie, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a personal trainer. You met Kyle and you're like, that's my guy.
We met in college. So we met when I was only 17. We've been together almost 25 years.
That's perfect.
It's just been instant. Like, we're friends, we're in love, like everything. I am a personal trainer. I've been teaching dance also for 25 years. So I stay active and do all that kind of stuff. I just fell in love with fitness, nutrition, and that kind of, like, when he was sick was hard because my life was fitness, nutrition, dancing, very active.
And you can't say, hey, Kyle, let's go running. It's like,
right. So for us as a couple, like, the amputations kind of brought that into our marriage, where we could do that together and work out every day together and go for runs. And do the races together.
What have been your struggles with getting Kyle to? I mean, I'm not saying that Kyle's unmotivated. You sound like an extremely motivated person, but I mean, were there any struggles getting Kyle up off the couch?
Not really.
That's amazing.
Once he had it done, it was like no stopping him. I mean, he got kicked out of physical therapy 2 weeks in.
No.
Well, we had a mutual conversation that neither of us wanted to see each other again.
So from there, it was just a lot of reading about, knowing about how the hips and all of that move. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, well, what can we do, and how can we just get moving?
Yeah.
And here we are in your racing. Do you have a trifecta yet?
He does. I don't.
Oh.
I'm scared of heights and water, so some of the trifectas, like when I have to go high on obstacles, not really my thing. And
so it's not just a run, and you said that there's obstacles. What kind of obstacles? Is this like? And from the reading that I got, it's like a Tough Mudder without much of the mud. There is mud.
There's a good amount of mud depending on the course.
But there's like bucket carries.
Yep, sandbag carries, bucket carries,
rope
climbs, monkey bars,
getting over really high walls.
Which is
not my jam.
But when you're out there with all the Spartan type people that are like you, they're ready to rumble. You climb up, get up to an 8-foot wall, and there's multiple people dropping on their knees to lift you up and help. And there was one race that I was doing on my own where this one young lady was like hopping, and she had to have been like maybe 5'1" at the most, and I popped up my knee, and she climbed up, and I got her over, and I don't think she even realized the legs until after the fact.
Oh shit!
But everybody's doing it. They're helping each other out.
Oh, it's the best environment just to watch everybody help each other, talk to each other, and for some reason have fun and laugh. Like,
oh yeah,
you find yourself like cracking up in the midst of
people are encouraging everybody.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, I there might be a different category of the people that just show up to race to win.
Oh,
and then there's the other category of humans that are there just to do it.
Just to challenge yourself is really, a lot of the people that are doing the, especially like the sprint level, the shorter ones are just trying to give themselves a challenge and something to get through.
So talk to me about there's different events. There's a stadium, and then there's sprint, there's super and beast, and then there's ultra and trail, and then like elite. So is that like this is the difficulty?
level every time.
So the beast is the highest I'll probably ever do. That's the half marathon level, and then the ultra is a marathon level. So these people are doing a marathon of it. So
it's not like a biathlon or a triathlon. This is the trifecta of the same event.
Yeah, well, they're everywhere you go is different.
Okay. There are so many. I had the schedule up, and I'm like really confused because I don't do these type things.
So they also do like Killington, which we do for the sprint, is part of they call it their mountain series. So they basically do it on mountains and kill you with elevation.
This crazy shit in Montana. What is that? They got like 4. Where is that one? Where is that? The Spartan schedule. Montana. Where is it? There's like 4 events. I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are like the weekends where you can get it all just done in one weekend and be over with it.
And then be back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
I take the week off after a beast race.
We do. We try to take the next 2-3 days to rest.
That's nuts. This doesn't mesh with my brain because I couldn't imagine doing something like that. I mean, especially I'm not talking down. It's just
so the stadiums are like a first like I say to people that want to try it
Baby
out.
steps.
That's like, are you sure you want to be doing this? And then you get addicted.
You get to do the obstacles, but you're not really in mud.
Yeah, there's no mud in those.
Much more stairs. We usually do Fenway Park each year. So Fenway Park is a bit of a smaller baseball stadium, so they run you around a little bit. And then I did Citi Field where the Mets play, and oh my God, that was a lot of stairs. You know, there's such a high stadium, they just keep running you up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. I know, but you're not rolling through mud, and but you get to do some of like the more normal obstacles, like the bag lift, the box jumps, the
jump rope thing with the big rope.
Yep.
Do you find that there's some events that you're better at because you have adaptive legs?
Yes.
Oh God.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. I just think because you're taller, that's why I think you're better at them. So.
Well, you know, I when you're missing 2 legs, you get to choose your own height. So, you know, I could always come up with an extra, 4 inches just to reach the top of things if I really want to.
What's your best challenge or your worst challenge? What's your hardest?
Rope climb.
Rope climb, which when I was a kid, I used to be a great rope climber, but I cannot figure out how to feel the rope and pinch my feet. So I can do a rope like in the beginning if I just do all arms. Mm-hmm. But once you hit a rope after doing so many obstacles and so many miles, I can't seem to figure out the whole lock in my feet thing.
Did it take you 3 attempts to get your trifecta, or was it like multiple attempts?
Well, no, when I did it, I picked the races and I made it through them. So, I mean, the Beast was my biggest concern because they do have time cutoffs, for safety. So I wanted to make sure I was a bright and early start. And, I did that one in Ohio. So I drove up the day or 2 days before, one day before, and got up and got there bright and early, and it took me
under 9 hours.
It took me under 9 hours. Yeah. I think it took me about a little over 8 hours to finish the whole thing.
What's the distance on these? Is this a distance thing, or is this a distance plus
one
obstacle?
So that they call it 13 plus miles. I know that
Spartan
one.
Miles.
Wow. That one was.
They lie.
I think from what I got from
it's like
people
metric. It's like kilometers versus.
Yeah, the watches and stuff were came out to be about 15 and a half miles. Uh-huh. But a lot of mud. Mud to your knees, up to your waist parts. Crawling through it.
Are there different categories for adaptive runners?
No.
It's just like you want to do it. Enter.
They do have
pretty much.
They do
these
a
guys
thing
are
called
dicks.
Spartan Para, and they do a Spartan Para championship, and that's a team of 4 that has specific like one person has to be, I think, wheelchair-ish.
Yeah, like
one
everybody
person,
has to
like
have
each
something.
person has to, like they try to even out the teams, and they do that one I think in Las Vegas. Too far of a trip for us, but I've always just tried to do the regular ones. So, and I've been lucky enough to not fail yet, and not finish.
They do have the rule you have to finish to get your medal.
If you don't finish, you don't get a medal. You don't get the.
And you'd have to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
If when the year ends,
start over, you fail.
Yeah, you fail at that time.
If you don't make it through, you fail.
So you have to do 3 in a year, or is it after the year? It doesn't matter if you have 2. You have to start back at 0 the next year.
Yeah, like every year it resets.
Okay.
Yep.
And that makes sense. The one in Montana I was talking about, that's a sprint, super, and then beast, ultra, and then trail. The trail is different than the other 3?
There's not as many obstacles on the trail.
I don't think there is obstacles on trail at all. Trail is new to Spartan, I think.
Okay, it's like a cross country type thing.
Years, and that's more just straight like cross country running, I believe.
This is sound like fun.
I think you'd kick ass at that. I mean, if that's one of the categories that you can do.
Obstacles more than the running.
Yeah.
I run because I know there's an obstacle coming up.
To me, I joke that some of, especially the long ones, it's more hiking than running. You know, you're keeping at a full speed, but you know you're not at a full run speed when there's mud up to your knees or you're going straight up a huge mountain incline.
So Jackie, what's your favorite category?
My favorite obstacle?
Event. No, your event?
Well, I've only ever done the shortest ones. This will be my first time doing any of the longer ones with him.
So what's your favorite obstacle?
I like to crawl under things because I'm really short. So like there's usually a barbed wire crawl where like at Killington you do it like going up the mountain and there's barbed wire and you have to go under it for a certain amount of time. And like I like to watch everyone who's tall struggle because I can fit under and everyone else can't. But I don't like any of the ones where then they can like reach and I can't.
What made you all do start a TikTok?
We wanted to document like doing it together for our anniversary because it's not like a normal thing I think people do to celebrate their anniversaries.
No, they don't.
A vow renewal or anything like that. We said, let's just book 3 trips and do this for our anniversary.
Kind of was also a way to say, you know,
hold us accountable.
We have
to do it. Then
we're getting the workouts in, we're getting our runs in, and you know we're posting it. You know, for before all this took off, our 31.
We had 31 people.
31 people following us, and then when this video of putting on the legs for the fire department went off, we're now at like
22,000
followers
like
or something.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
What's your favorite event, Kyle?
I mean, I definitely enjoy doing Killington Mountain, just because of it's
a different atmosphere.
It's such a challenge, not that the beast or the distance. I've only done one beast so far. So this one coming up will be my second beast.
So your beast is the level of difficulty of what that run is.
The length of it and the amount of obstacles. So each level has more obstacles, and then they put harder obstacles in each
longer
level.
Races. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the hardest obstacles aren't in the sprint. Like they try to increase the difficulty of them as you increase the difficulty of your of the races.
Jackie, do you ever try to talk some of your clients into participating?
In years past, I have. They don't seem any time interested. A few every now and then might try like the stadium this year with us. Mm-hmm. But I was actually really clear because other years we've invited everybody to different races and said, let's train together. And when it came to these 3 specific ones this year, I was like, just so everyone knows, no one else is invited. Like, because I don't want to be their trainer. Like we're doing it together. Like we just want it to be us. So, but a lot of times people are interested. So we might get some people together this year to do Fenway Park.
Same question to you, Kyle. And anybody at the fire station you try to talk into doing this?
No. I can't talk a lot of the volunteer fire department here. I can't even talk them into working out with me sometimes, or even doing like the 5K for the Schenectady firefighters foundation. They're not a lot of them are the most
into it
to working out people.
I've seen all the movies, and it's like if they're not in the firehouse, they're either eating or they're working out. Everyone's lifting weights and working out and doing stuff. You'd think that they would be more involved.
Yours is a little different being volunteer.
With us being volunteer firefighters, it's,
okay.
It's a little different because we're not sitting around in the firehouse all the time, hanging out waiting for calls. We're home when the pager goes off.
Or you're doing your the bill paying job that you have.
So some people can leave. Me being a nurse, I can't really take off on my patients, but it's more of if you're available, you go.
Or mid-workout. One of the original videos that actually got attention was it went off in the middle of a workout.
Yeah. So we stopped in the middle of the workout, and then somebody asked and said, not to be rude, but with the prosthetic legs, how does that happen? So she said, well, we're going to answer the question. We'll make a little video. So just kind of walk up and make sure you go slow and show how you attach your legs and stuff. So
Did you have a hard time trying to get brought on as a volunteer firefighter? I mean, standards should be the same, whether you've got.
And I have passed all the state requirements. So I kind of did it a little differently. I started originally when I had my real legs. I did what was called fire police, and you would go to the scene and you did kind of traffic control. Mm-hmm. Depending on where the truck was and what was blocking. And then I joined kind of the department socially when the legs got really bad. And then when I came back originally, I did the state pump ops course and driving. So I would drive the truck and run the pump to make sure the firefighters had water. And as I got in better shape, I decided to start doing the additional training, doing the external stuff. And then at one point I was saying to Jax that I, felt like I was in better shape than some of our guys, and I wanted to go for the rest. So I decided to do it. And it was kind of a long haul for that, because I was supposed to start a class when COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And the state shut down all the classes. So I continued to do, just training with my department. And when I was able to get into the New York State course, once they reopened that up, I got into that and got it finished.
You freaking set a goal and you accomplished it. Do you feel that you are threatening to any of your other colleagues in the firehouse?
No, I don't think so. We all get along really well,
You say half the time they forget you're an amputee.
I would say that, yeah. You get a new person in there a little shocked in the beginning, but I joke that I'm kind of the one of the older guys training with them, but when you are doing the same training and you're going through the same mass confidence course, or you're jumping out of the second floor window down a ladder with everybody else, pulling the same weight. They don't even think any different of it, especially some of these younger kids that I'm doing it with, that I've been doing it with for a while. They just expect it.
Well, that's freaking awesome. So what's your next event? The one that you're training for right now?
May we'll do North Carolina, and it will be a half marathon one.
That's the Fayetteville one?
Yep.
So what else do we have here?
We decided to get the beast in first.
Get it out of the way.
Do the hard stuff first, and then the rest is just gravy.
Thing, yep. Then the other ones will seem okay.
So let me see. Fayetteville is in, which is a trifecta. They got everything there. What's the ultra?
That's 2 beasts, so it's like a
what? No, dude, no.
It's like 2 loops of the same course too, so you even know what's coming and where everything is.
Is it 2 different beasts? It's not 2 of the same beasts.
It's 2 of the same beast. It's 2 loops of the beast.
Oh, dude. You're like, yay, I've done one. Let's do another.
Let's just keep going. No.
So from May to when are you going to recover from that?
May to August.
Yep.
Okay, 90-ish days.
Then we got kind of a short turnaround. We only have 1 month to the final one. in September.
Wow. Is your daughter going to participate in any of these?
Not these 3 because we said no. These are about us traveling and leaving all the kids at home, and just the 2 of us going, and they get to stay home and hang out with babysitters and
watch on TV or on some
whatever they
streaming
wanna do.
platform, whatever.
Right? Exactly. But she may do one in June with us in Saugerties. Like, we might throw a bonus one in June. That's not part of the series that we planned. And then she may do Fenway with us this year, just depending on her schedule.
You know, with your trifecta medal, you don't have like a little extra star or something for my kid did this.
No, you just get extra medals for it.
So tell us about your TikTok. Where can we find your TikTok?
It's just, what is it? Kyle and Jackie trifecta year? I don't even know the name of it. That's how, like, we just decided on such a randomness to be like, let's start one and see what happens.
I do like that because that kind of puts you out there, and it's like, okay,
if you read a lot of the Spartan books, his big thing is like, hold yourself accountable, tell everyone what you're doing. And we found with our friends and family, like, they're kind of so used to us that they're like, cool, glad you're doing another one. So they just don't, like, we're like, well, maybe strangers will care that we're doing it.
So it says at KJ Spartan Trifecta.
That's what it was.
At KJ
Spartan Trifecta.
KJ Spartan Trifecta on TikTok. I don't do the TikTok, so I'm going to leave it up to my audience, our audience.
I didn't until 2020 when I got bored. So I was like, let's see. I was just watching them.
I need less chaos in my life. I'd already gotten booted off of Twitter. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do the TikTok thing. If there's something cool, I'm going to have, I guess my kids will tell me about it.
The funny thing is we don't do it a lot. Like, until like even now, we don't like. You just learned, like, we've learned so much in the last 2 weeks. We learned how to translate.
Yes.
We started getting comments that were in like other languages, and I had to ask my daughter, who's 12. I was like, how do I know what this says?
Did they just call me an asshole?
I'm like, well, I didn't know if I should like it, right? Do I respond to it?
Right. That's a legit question.
Like, what do I do? So she showed us how to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe you like dive into like a YouTube thing or something to put yourself out there. I mean, I think you guys are doing great. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe our 10-year-olds can teach us how to YouTube because we.
There you go. All right. So your socials are TikTok, and we've put that out there as a KJ Spartan Trifecta on TikTok. Yeah. Do you have any parting words? I guess we're gonna go now. So, do you have any parting words for the audience? Any words of motivation?
Give them some words of motivation.
Words of motivation.
Do it.
I'm probably not the best motivator because
we pretty much say just do it. Stop making excuses.
Stop whining. Stop making excuses. Get your ASS up and work on it. If you fail, that means you just have to work harder.
Jackie, do you have any clients that are like, so how do you motivate your clients? Is it
pretty much that way. It's just, I don't like, there aren't excuses. Like, they'll say like, well,
you don't go all drill sergeant on them, but
is it a reason? Is it an excuse? Like, what is it? Like, we just talk a lot. I do a lot of life coaching with my clients to just really explain to them why they're there and like figure out, I'm big into like, you're not here for weight loss. So we talk about just everything else in their life, and I make them feel like it's going to make them feel better at the end of a workout.
Which it probably will. I mean, you're not lying.
Right. So our big slogan is like, we're always doing better than everybody who's sitting home on the couch.
Absolutely. That absolutely makes more sense if you think about it.
That's what I tell them. Like, even when they're not feeling it, I'm like, well, you're doing better than the person who's sitting home still on the couch. So
I think about that all the time when I drive to work in the morning and I see the person that's just not running but walking, and they're out doing something. I'm like, dude, they're doing something. They're doing more than
exactly. And that's a lot of the clients I work with. Is it's just like, we just need to start doing something.
Outstanding. Y'all, best of luck in all of your Spartan endeavors for the rest of the year. Your year is full. I mean, because you got an event and then a 90-day pause and then rinse and repeat. So you guys are doing great.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being on the show. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, thank you all, Kyle and Jackie, for being here. We are going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to close out the show. So thank you all for being here, and we'll talk to you later, Kyle and Jackie.
Thank you.
This is super awesome. I love this kind of stuff because there's that level of motivation. It's not a level of motivation. It's just a different style of motivation that kind of brings people. It motivates people to do things. So I'm just gonna get out of here. We're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back. So break time number 2.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Is there a reason for us to make this thing still
you feeling there, Mac? Good enough to fuck your mother!
WTF Nation Radio.
All right. We are back for the closing segment of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, and that up there is Pooky, and we are here with WTF Nation Radio and just having a great time here on Friday night. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you very much for Jackie and Kyle hanging out with us for the last hour. I appreciate it. Dude, I got some motivation issues. I can't. I've got two perfectly good legs, and I don't have any motivation to go and do a Tough Mudder or a Spartan challenge. That's amazing. That's an amazing amount of motivation to go and do things.
That was me in my 20s. Not happening now.
If it was like a road march type thing, I could probably do that. But running and obstacling and things like that, not likely.
To do that Dragon Challenge once a year was back at Bragg. The Dragon Challenge. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
So we're back. We're gonna do some housekeeping because I didn't do it earlier. We got shows 5 days a week, which is awesome. One of these days it's going to be 6 days a week. You actually have to have a day off, so there has to be a Donza in there sometime. Mondays is the Monday edition with Ice and Shipwreck. Tuesdays is Pop Culture Warrior with CQ. Smoke Pit comes on Wednesday, which is a new show, with TZ and Radar. Sergeant's Time with Ice is on Thursday. Friday is always Friday Night Freedom. Right now, Saturday is the Donza, and then we're here with the Sports Bar with King Smith and the Coach on Sunday. Something I saw something in the news. I can't. There's like a big sports event or something coming up on Sunday. It's like the Super Soaker, the Super something like that.
Oh, you mean the Super?
Yeah. Oh, we had to double bleep. So CQ was out there in the Phoenix area doing his the Media Week. I think that was called Media Week, and he just there were some just amazing photos of just everything. I guess it was just a big, not a warehouse, just a field house of different things going on relating to the Super, and it was awesome. He provided some great pictures. So if you go to Pop Culture Warriors Facebook page or U.S. Army, not U.S. Army, but our radio page here at WTF Nation Radio, you probably get to see some kick-ass pictures of CQ there. But tonight we had Kyle and Jackie Stark. On Monday we have Buck Wade from Stop Soldier Suicide. He's going to be talking with Ice. On Tuesday we have John Lynch, actor and director. He's been in like Shutter Island, Gran Torino. He's gonna be talking with CQ, and then on Wednesday we have the crew from the Extra Duty podcast are going to be Radar and TZ's first guests since he went live. So this is pretty awesome. I got nothing else left, man. I think we're gonna call it. You got any parting words of wisdom, Mr. Pooky?
Yeah, it has not been said at all tonight, but taxation is theft. Don't.
And it's tax season.
Yes. Don't kick your dog. Don't beat your spouse. Don't drink and drive. Don't fly American. And y'all have a safe weekend. And that's all I gotta say.
Don't evade your taxes, because that just makes the rest of your life very, 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 very difficult.
Evade all the taxes
legally.
Be
like Amazon and pay no taxes. Just do it because of the laws that are on the books.
Become ungovernable. Pay no taxes.
All right, everybody, we're out of here. Thank you very much for being here with us, and we're going to be back next week. But don't. I mean, tomorrow's a day off. But make sure you're back here for the sports bar on Sunday. I mean, look at all these shows that we have. Sports Wars on Sunday, Monday edition. Pop Culture Warrior on Tuesday. Smoke Pit on Wednesday. Sergeant's Time on Thursday. And right back here on Friday for Friday Night Freedom. All right, y'all. Take care. We out of here.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Did you make a wish? Yeah. What'd you wish for? I wish for big movies.
WTF Nation Radio.
Dragon!